I probably don't have to stand here with my tonic water and tell you how important first impressions are. Your current or future wife is going to perceive you for the first time. Your current best friend or future best friend is going to perceive you, meet you for the first time. Your business partner, now or in the future, is going to have a first impression of you. All of these people, these important people that you want in your life or currently have in your life, have either had or will have a first impression of you. I'm sure we want it to be as good as possible, right? This is Tom. Tom's flexing his biceps saying this game is easy. Tom goes into that job interview. He isn't the most skilled there. He hasn't got the best CV there, but he got the job because he mastered first impressions. Tom got that second date with a girl. Somehow he got the job. Somehow he got the girl. Somehow when he meets important connections, they want to spend time with him. They want to get to know him a little bit better. Now Tom and John, we'll call him John for short, ain't too different. Tom mastered first impressions. John, or Johnny, doesn't understand first impressions or how to be perceived well. Now, this is a game, and this is how to play the game. We judge people, and people judge us within 6 seconds of meeting. And that is not something that is conscious. It's not something that you're deciding to do. It's not something we decide to do, or we would probably be a little bit more positive about people. But we instantly judge people, and that's not your fault. This is ancient wiring that has kept us alive. We would interact with somebody for the first time, and we would instantly have to find out, based on appearance, based on how they carry themselves, whether that person's going to kill us or join our tribe. We had to. It kept us alive. And we built up fine judgment skills based on this within the first 6 seconds. That impression, that bias has gone nowhere. And we're in this new age, but that bias is still there. Now this bias is called the appearance bias. And I'm going to give you the best example to explain the appearance bias. So here we've got Johnny. Johnny goes to his local shop with his trousers hanging down, with a bop on his step, like this. And he goes into the shop and the security guard follows him. Johnny gets annoyed. Why is he judging me? Why is he following me? Why does he think I'm going to steal something? Johnny's got his trousers halfway down his ass, a little bop in his step. Johnny hasn't stolen anything yet. He hasn't touched anything. However, Tom comes into the shop with his trousers up, walking properly with a nice posture, introduces himself to the security guard, says, "Hey, how you doing, mate?" And then cracks on. They don't follow Tom. In fact, the security guard smiles at Tom, makes a joke with Tom, and they crack on and have a wonderful day. And then the next time Tom goes into the shop, they actually give him a discount, staff discount. Tom's having a fantastic time. Now, Tom might be a criminal. Johnny might be a normal civilian. However, Tom has a very different experience to John. Why? And this is the key principle. Why? What is the difference between the two? Simply, Tom has mastered the first impression. Let's take ourselves out of our shoes and place ourselves into the security guard's shoes. If you was that security guard, again, this is where we have to be honest with ourselves. Johnny walks in with his trousers down, a little bop, going into the shop like this. Doesn't say hi. What are you gonna do? I would follow him. I don't care what color he is. I don't care about anything. This geezer, as his trousers down, he's doing a little bop. He's probably gonna steal something. So I'm following him about. Tom might be a criminal. I don't know. But Tom said hi to me, so I'm at ease. Tom introduced himself to me, so I'm instantly at ease as the security guard. Tom is dressed well. He's showing me that whether he has money or doesn't, he looks like he does, so I'm leaving him alone. And I'm not going to follow him. I'm going to let him crack on and do his thing. And then the next time I see him, actually, I like this, Tom. Tom, do you know what? Take my card. Here's his staff discount. We don't know who is who yet. This is all based on first impressions. Tom has mastered the game. Johnny is upset. Now, in that scenario, Tom might have stole something and Johnny might not have stole something. However, Johnny has been perceived as the one that will, and Tom has been perceived as the one that won't. This is where mastering first impressions is so important. If you are currently that person that feels like nobody's reading your CV, or you're going into that job interview and they're not taking you seriously, or you met that girl for the first time and she don't really fancy, she's not really feeling it, she doesn't want to go on a second date, but you're a good guy. Or maybe you met that connection, that friend, that potential business partner, but they don't really want to know much more about you. First of all, we've got to interact with these people, but how are we going to interact with someone if we haven't already created and mastered the first impression? This video is not about changing your character and who you are. What this video is about is matching your character with who you are. Because we've been there before, right? I remember the first time I got stopped by police and I wasn't doing anything wrong. But I looked like I was. The way I was carrying myself looked like I was. And I was fuming. I haven't been pulled over since. I haven't been stopped by police since. Now, as I said, I could be a criminal. I'm not, but I could be. And I'd be getting away with it. Why? Because of how I carry myself. You have to understand that this is deep wiring and it's in our subconscious mind as humans. This is not something that we decide. Judgment is not something that we decide, but it's something that it happens naturally without us even thinking. It is subconscious. It is unconscious. It is not something we choose to do, but we need to understand it so that we can play the game. Because as I said, Tom is on easy mode. This game's easy. That's what he says. Look, not my words, Tom's words. This game is easy. And Johnny is screaming out and saying, stop judging me. Why is everybody judging me? How do we master the first impression? We've got a couple senses that we have as humans. Sight, touch, smell, words, the hearing. Yeah, all of these are senses, right? There's certain things that threaten our senses and there's certain things that put our senses at ease. For example, if I played heavy rock to you, maybe you're into rock, I don't know. But if I played heavy rock to you, it might wake you up a bit. If I played calm, soothing jazz, New York jazz or whatever, it might make you really chilled. Now, it's just music, but it's having an effect on your senses. In order to master the first impression, we need to master the senses. Let's go through the first one, appearance. I don't need to write these, just follow me. Right, appearance. How do we come across? For example, let's go back to Johnny and Tom. Johnny had his trousers down and a little bop in his step. Now, we connect trousers down with gangster because they do it in prison and because of this and because it's become a cultural norm that gangsters a lot of the time have their trousers down. Now, Johnny ain't a gangster, but he's got his trousers down. So that is instantly sending a signal for that first impression to be maybe potential danger. The second thing Johnny has done is he hasn't engaged with the hearing or the speaking, whatever way we're doing it, right? He hasn't engaged with sound. He hasn't made a sound. He's gone into the shop and almost acted like the security guard's not even there. Or maybe even worse, looked at him funny and continued to go. That is instantly, these two senses instantly are off in this first impression. The sense of sight, as in appearance, and then also the sense of hearing. He's heard nothing, and we're now that again, put yourself into the mind frame and the person of the security guard. Put yourself in his shoes or her, whatever. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Alarm bells are going off in your mind already. Now the next one could be smell. Maybe Johnny smells of weed. Or maybe Johnny smells of some type of drug that he shouldn't be taking. Or maybe he smells of alcohol. Or maybe and now as soon as we smell these things, again, another sense comes up in our mind. Now, as I said, all of these senses that are popping up are unconscious, subconscious. They are happening without us making conscious decisions about them. They are just happening. We are perceiving them in real time. If we cannot master the senses, we will continuously be judged. It is not because of your race. It is not because of your ethnic background. If a black millionaire and a white millionaire met each other, they're not going to be like, oh, you're black, I'm not going to be friends with you. Or you're white, I'm not going to... They're millionaires. They don't care. Now, I know that's quite an extreme point. And most of the time, I'm going to just put a disclaimer. Most of the time, that is not the case. It is based on those five senses that have been heightened based on us not mastering the first impression. Some practical stuff around this now. Dress. Here's a couple. Now, there are quite a few. However, simply got to get the basics right. Getting these basics right have completely changed my life. And as I said, I haven't really changed. My character hadn't really changed that much. But I started working on the appearance and how I was coming across and the effect it had in my sales. I've had so many occasions where simply mastering the first impression has allowed me to get my foot in the door. Because then once you get your foot in the door, you can display your character. So if your first impression is good, that gets your foot in the door. And then if your character is good, it allows you to stay in the door. Simply put, mastering the first impression is the key to getting in the door. And mastering the first impression has been the one that's allowed me, has helped me get my foot into doors that I believe I should be in. If you are somebody that has good character, you mean well, and you genuinely want the best for people, that needs to be recognized. However, the truth is, the harsh reality of human nature is that it will not be recognized until you understand and master the first impressions. Dress well, overdress. If you're going to a job interview, if you're going to somebody's birthday, if you're going into a new space and environment, dress well. Go on Pinterest or something like that, simply understand colors, understand what to wear, overdress. You can't be overdressed, rarely, and instantly If you're going into a space where there's first impressions, there's women maybe you want to talk to, there's a business partner you want to talk to, maybe there's a connection and a friend that you potentially want. If you are overdressed, it's going to be a lot easier to get in the door and make that connection, and then let your character do the rest. The next one, smell nice. Very simple. Understand what environment you're going into and then match that with a smell. If I'm in a calmer environment where I want people to be chilled and sort of calm around me, I'll put on a sweet scent. Maybe a women's perfume. This is the game, right? I put on a women's perfume, something like that, a sweet scent, and that sends signals. Again, remember what we said previously about signals. That sends signals to that person that I'm not a threat, and actually that they can relax around me and they can feel calm around me. Then the next one is introduce yourself. I'm gonna change that. Smile, bruv. Now, again, let's go back to the signaling. If you smile at someone, imagine somebody smiles at you. Barrier down. That person's friendly. You just smiled. You didn't do anything. You just smiled. This is so powerful. This stuff is so powerful. If you can just smile at someone, if you dress well, you smell nice, you smile, and then you introduce yourself. That's it. That's it. That's all you need to. That's it. That's all you need to do. Now there are loads of different other variables and things we can get into that can help, but ultimately, this is basic. If you can dress well, overdress. There's no such thing. If you can smell nice, pick a scent, run with that. If you're going to a business meeting, maybe you want something a little bit more, I would say you always have something welcoming on. So something sweet. But we connect the smell of something sweet to calmness, and it relaxes. It has almost like when we smell something sweet, we sort of relax and calm down. Now you can do that and put people into that space. And then the last one, as I said, introduce yourself, smile. The moment that you smile at someone, it literally in real time calms their nervous system down. And again, like everything that I'm saying is happening subconsciously in somebody's mind. It is not something they are deciding to do. They are not deciding to drop their barrier. They are not deciding to say, oh, this geezer's all right, I'm going to like him. No, it's happened subconsciously. And this is how we do it, by mastering the senses. Now, if you like this sort of stuff, pop a comment in the comments and we'll maybe do a little part 2 or something. But mastering the first impression has single-handedly changed my life, and I know it can change yours. This is simply part of the game. We're playing the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You heard that one before? Who was that? 50 Cent? Someone like that. But don't hate the player. Yeah? Don't even dislike the game. Learn how to play it. Because this is the game. Master first impressions. I'll see you in the next one.